Oh, damn. We ended up on the wrong side of YouTube, folks.
Oh,
It's,
shit.
it's supposed to be some
Let me get my
sort of
MAGA
like,
hat. Hold on.
there's
We just gained 300 new files that we do not want.
right.
Sorry, Chris, go.
All right, greetings everybody. Welcome to our another edition of the Here Speak podcast. I am your host Chris. We're here to talk about entertainment, culture, and whatever the hell we feel like. And today, what we feel like talking about is going to be Thanksgiving, Hawkeye, and Finch. A wonderful 1-2-3 punch, I think. I don't know. Let's talk about Thanksgiving first. What did you all do for Thanksgiving? Because I was stuck in my house. James,
Quarantine, right?
you first. What did you do?
Well, I was
on
not
Thanksgiving?
quarantined like you, and I hope your sons are. I forgot, both of them are one.
Everybody's good. Everybody's good.
Everyone's good. Clean bill of health. Serena is back. You know, Serena, Heroes Peak. She did a couple of quick peaks during the summer. She's back for the holidays, and she brought her girlfriend with her, who's staying with us for about 2 weeks. And her girlfriend's from the South, from LA to Dallas, and she wanted to partake in our holiday meals. Now, we talked about like a year ago about Thanksgiving meals, what we like, what we don't like, black versus white, Canada versus American. So she's being Southern. She wanted to do collard greens. So Kat, our wife, who was in charge of the cooking, was like, all right, collard greens. I'm not really an expert at it, but give me the recipe and we'll handle it. So I'm the produce guy. I go out and get the drinks. I get the supplies. I
Wait.
clean a
Do you
little
just
bit here
call
and there.
drinks produce? Like as
Produce
in-
and beverages.
Oh,
Produce and
okay,
beverages.
there we go.
Yeah, there
So
we go.
make sure you're
Hey,
missing more
alcohol's made from
vegetables.
vegetables,
I
so.
was gonna say,
Hey, alcohol does come from greens.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
yeah.
grains and corn here.
So, some alcohol. Anyway, so I'm going through a last minute shopping, and she goes, "Oh, we don't have collard greens. We get collard greens, 2 bundles." I'm like, "Oh, 2 bundles collard greens, easy to spot." I go to my local supermarket, which is still busy, packed, because this is like again going back to African American Thanksgiving. It doesn't start as early as Caucasian American Thanksgiving, so I've got some time, 11, 12 o'clock to get the stuff that I need. And then it hits me. I'm like, what the hell does collard greens look like? So I'm walking in the area, and usually it's labels, spinach, cabbage, leeks, everything is labeled, right? And I'm like, I don't fucking see collard greens. And there's a lady who's the spritzer. She's the gardener. She told me her title. I was like, hey, ma'am, you work here? She goes, yeah, I'm the gardener. I was like, okay, there's nothing in the dirt right now, but sure.
There's nothing there.
Nothing in the dirt.
So I'm like, dude, she had the whole getup, like the little visor thing and the
Were you at a
spritzer.
Wegmans, man? That's like a
No,
Wegmans
no, it's not a Wegmans. It's our local King
It's like
supermarket.
local corner store.
The local
James,
bodega.
he's too
It's
spoiled now.
local
You need to go
bodega.
back to C-Town, man.
It's C-Town.
Gentrified bodega.
It's the
Associated.
suburbs version of Associated in C-Town. So she's like, what are you looking for? I was like, I'm looking for collard greens. She goes, collard greens? She starts looking around. Now, mind you, she's Caucasian as well. So I'm sitting there like, does she even know what it looks like? Like, we're both like 2 blind mice, trying to figure this shit out. So I was like, I don't have time for this. Let me FaceTime.
So the short version is James is like a white woman, just so everybody knows how this story goes.
So I hold on. So this story gets a little bit better. So I FaceTime Kat. First, I try to get Serena, because I was like, maybe Serena could put her girlfriend on, and she can describe the photo.
Google is your friend, right?
Dude, but Google Wi-Fi in the supermarket wasn't that hot. But somehow FaceTime worked. FaceTime worked.
Mm-hmm.
So Kat goes, she sees me talking to a lady, and I'm asking. She goes, hold on, give me the can. And she's like, pan over here, pan. She goes, yeah, they don't have it. Go to Whole Foods. And then she goes, by the way, let me talk to you real quick. I was like, what? She goes, you just lost your black card for that.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say the same thing.
So I go to Whole Foods, and clear as day, it's there. The Hispanic lady was like, "How many bushels do you want?" I was like, "I just want 2." And I was like, "Wow, I should have went here first." And that saved the embarrassment of getting my black card taken, taken,
Yeah, I would have told you to
pulled
get your ass to Key Food.
on probation. I'm on
Path,
probation.
Pathmark sure has changed.
By the way, her collard greens came out like outstanding, outstanding.
Good.
Nice.
All right. And next, Keith, how you doing? We haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's been forever, man. I miss you guys. Um, well, I hope everybody had all the listeners. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I didn't do anything. Stayed here, stayed home with the lady. We ordered food from the
Ordered
local
food.
soul food emporium.
Mm.
They probably had collard greens.
Oh, they definitely knew what it looked like.
They're sending you a photo. Is this what you're looking for, sir?
No,
we're,
I
we're
mean,
yeah,
but
we're at
not
the supermarket. We just can't find it.
They didn't have lettuce or cabbage, but they had collard greens. Like, you want lettuce? Romaine lettuce? No, wrong store. You need to go to King's in Jersey, North Jersey for
he's
that.
like, we have kale.
That was the other one I panned
It's
past.
almost the same thing.
I'm like, this looks too hard to be collard greens.
No, no, ma'am.
But then Keith did visit us on Friday, Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That was fun.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
That
Alright.
that was fun.
That was fun.
All right. And last but not least, it's Mike. How you doing, Mike? How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, up here, that's just Thursday, right? We do our Thanksgiving in
How
October.
American pompous of us.
With that maple syrup, right? Just
Yeah.
regular.
Contrary to what most Americans believe, your laws and holidays do not expand past the border.
Are you sure about that? Because I think
Wait,
I'm sure
the
you could ask
economy,
fellow Americans.
stock trading and the economy was all open still? All that shit was open?
What's
Y'all
that?
don't celebrate President's Day?
President's Day,
4th
no.
of July?
4th
I
of
was gonna
July?
say Independence
We have
Day.
the 1st of July.
Columbus
No,
Day.
ours is
Come
back
on,
in
Columbus
October,
Day.
so yeah. When it actually
funny.
should be when it's the end of the harvest.
Is there
not-
equivalent to Thanksgiving Day that you guys celebrate?
Well, we have Thanksgiving in October. Same thing. Same holiday, just different day, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, you got to remember, American
Well, do
holidays.
you guys attach it the same?
Yeah, was there
What do
a
you
Native
mean?
American tribe that the
Yeah, is there
French
No,
same-
no.
came and settled?
It's the Thanksgiving here is a celebration of the end of the harvest for the
Pagans.
for the season.
The pagan part. Gotcha.
Pagan-
Not the
pagan part.
Without the Anglican. Yeah, got it.
That's when y'all had the orgy. Got you.
That's right.
Bacchanali.
Yeah, so you guys know that American holidays are built 100% on just capitalism. So we moved this end of
Looking
harvest
at you,
thing.
Valentine's.
Yeah, we just moved it so that it split Christmas and
Right.
Halloween.
Yeah.
So we're just filling gaps with things. That's all. Like we want people to spend money, but we need more reasons to. So we throw in like, oh, this empty area, Valentine's Day. Yeah, that shit works. That shit works real well. So yeah,
See,
we're
during school,
Earth Day.
do you remember elementary school? That was the worst time of the year because it was very holiday light.
Yeah.
Very holiday light. Like you were dying until you got to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you were hoping somebody had a birthday or
Mhm.
somebody was leaving for I don't know another state and they'd have a little party. You needed something to fill in.
Dude,
the gap.
you don't really recognize holidays until you start working. Once you're employed, then you start looking at, I got 10 holidays, 2
Yep.
floating ones. All of a sudden, all these, I'm like, what day is this? Armistice Day? Yeah. put that on my
Armistice Day, Flag
Yeah, that
Day.
reminds me. I better take my sick days before end of the year.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
it-
are holidays.
uh,
Got to drop in that Flag Day as an
Like,
extra.
I never cared about holidays until I started working.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a great time. Like I said, we're kind of stuck in the house, but it's all right. We had the whole family here. It was fine. Even
So
though
let me ask you though, before we go to break, the mood, like a lot of more things are opened up down there, right? This year as opposed to last year, like everything was more locked down last year,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it was the mood was better, right? Or would
Yeah,
you say or no?
yeah,
yeah, the
definitely.
mood is better, but I still feel like people aren't as like pumped to be.
Right.
I wasn't getting a lot of the general holiday cheer like
No,
Yeah.
feeling.
there. I don't feel any
Well, here's
holiday
Like,
what I
feeling.
was getting. Mike, you asked a
huh?
good question because I actually went out for the first time in a long time. The night before Thanksgiving, Wednesday night, yeah, with a neighbor friend of mine,
Mm.
and Thanksgiving Eve, which I didn't know was a holiday. And again, we talk about holidays that we don't know about unless you're working. It was crazy. There was a local dive bar that us 40+ year old guys used to go to watch the game, get a couple beers. That was packed with all these 20-year-olds out of college or midterms. That was crazy, and they weren't really festive for the holiday. They're just out and about to be drinking. So
Right.
there's like a overlap between last year's holiday that we kind of missed with post COVID, where people just want to get out for any reason, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna say they were just to celebrate Thanksgiving and be like in the spiritual mood. It was more like we need to we got a day off. Let's party like we missed 2 years. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of that in Manhattan and Jersey.
You got to show proof of vaccination, right, to get into the bars and stuff.
Not everywhere. Not
In
Mm.
everywhere.
New York, yeah,
New York definitely.
in
Yeah.
New York,
Jersey, some cases they ask for it. Some cases they don't even bother.
All right. Cool.
All right. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday, and now it's straight on till Christmas. This is what we're
the
doing next.
long stretch.
The
And
long
Hanukkah.
stretch.
Hey, don't forget
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah to our
That's correct.
Andrew, one of our original subscribers. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
Hey,
Hanukkah. That was started Sunday night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
the only thing I know about Hanukkah is Eight Crazy Nights, right? The Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, don't get your Hanukkah
Again,
information from Adam
see,
Sandler.
capitalism, movies.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna move on and we're gonna talk about Hawkeye, the Disney Plus series.
Oh, we're gonna take a break first, right?
All right. Let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk about Hawkeye, the Disney Plus series. All right, we are back, everybody, and we're here to talk about Hawkeye, the new Disney Plus series in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And all right, this is what we're gonna start with. This is a story based loosely, rather loosely, on the Matt Fraction and David Aja 2012 to 2015
Ooh,
comic series.
Chris did
Uh,
his research.
eh, uh, some minor research, but I heard it from a good source, friend of the show, is that they took some liberties based on where Hawkeye is within the MCU
MCU. Yep,
as
that is
compared to
correct.
what he is in the comic book. So it makes some major changes, minor changes to the story.
That is
Um,
correct.
so we pick up here with Hawkeye or Clint Barton being on vacation with his children, not his wife for some reason. I don't know. Maybe there's a story reason for that. In New York, going to see the musical Steve Rogers, or what was it, Rogers the musical?
I think it's Rogers the musical. Yeah,
Steve's,
Okay.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't
Steve
think it's
Rogers.
Steve Rogers. It's Rogers the musical.
Right.
Mm.
When he realizes that the suit that he wore in his time when his family was snapped, going around killing people, is wandering around New York, getting in fights with his old enemies. And in that suit just happens to be young one Miss Kate Bishop, um, who we find out is a big fan of Hawkeye due to her seeing him save the day in New York a long time ago during the Battle of New York. And that's basically where it goes off. The two are fighting for their uh, fighting. How would you put it? They're not really fighting for their lives, but they are more like Hawkeye is fighting for that image of him as Ronin to die, to be gone, and unfortunately, Kate Bishop picking up this suit kind of reinvigorated it and brought some old enemies out of the woodwork.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
And
Well,
some new.
She's
anime.
fighting for her life, and he just seems mildly unamused.
Well, she didn't realize she was going to be fighting for her life with it.
Yeah,
And
she's having a hard time. You can tell. I like that. I mean, off the bat, she's not. She's highly trained, but she's very inexperienced. Whereas for him, this is like, I got one hand tied behind my back. All right, is this all you got? Like when he went LARPing, that was hilarious.
Love that.
So before we get into that, this stars Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld, very hot right now. A lot of positive buzz coming around.
Hey, real quick, I know we're talking about this next week, but she's doing voice for one of the main protagonists in Arcane.
Arcane on Netflix. She's Vi, the main character. So
Holy cow.
One of the main characters. Yeah,
she's got a great agent,
and she's got her own show over on Apple Plus. Right, it's about the writer. It's like a modern take on the writer.
Yeah,
in the early 18th century.
What's her face? Not Austin. Not
Jane Austen. No.
Emily Dickinson.
Dickinson. Yeah, it's just called Dickinson, I think.
Yeah.
All right. This was written. Interestingly, the writers here. There's a Rice Thomas, and then the writers team of Bert and Bertie. No idea.
Bert and Ernie.
Bert Ernie.
No, it's literally Bert and Bertie, a writing team.
A lot of counting on this
It's gotta
show.
be fake. That's their pen names.
Apparently, the only thing that these three have done, they all did this thing together called Pitch, a 2016 Fox series. I don't know what it is. Like, I went and looked at their IMDb's. I'm like, how did they get a whole Marvel show to themselves? But hey, they got it. Yeah, it is. Let's just get into the review. I guess my one sentence review would be: this has very Home Alone energy.
You're not wrong there.
No, it's got some action. It's not. I wouldn't call it Home Alone action. It's a more adult action, but it's got that humor element to it too.
It's adult Home Alone, like the Christmas jingles in the back, walking through Times Square, then the whole thing of her house, the fight. Yeah, I can see that.
So now I love Home Alone, so that's not a negative from
we know you do. And did you see the new one?
No, I watched some reviews of that, and that scares the hell out of me watching it. So there's only been 2 episodes. The 3rd episode will be dropping soon. By the time we drop this episode, a 3rd episode will be out. But so far, it's been basically an episode of setting up Kate Bishop and setting up where Clint Barton is in this, and then getting them together for a short action bit, getting them in trouble, and that's it. Like, they haven't for 2 episodes.
This is also an introduction of what we could surmise to be the main, well, not main antagonist, but definitely one of those one of the antagonists of the show. I mean, the setup of the I'm gonna chop up his name, Hurricane or Dubois. You know what I'm talking about. He's known as the swordsman.
Oh,
okay.
The stepdad.
Yeah. He's pivotal in both episodes. He's not a minor.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, you really didn't know?
I didn't know.
So the thing is, after tonight's episode, we're halfway done already. So they better start ramping things up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow, there's only 6 episodes to this series?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so they had a very specific Because what was explained to me
Condensed.
was these 2 episodes basically get to the heart of the Matt Fraction run. Like instead of a lot of buildup of a single Clint Barton being kind of a I don't know, in a pigsty apartment with a dog and whatever, trying to get a date. Like that all stuff
Lucky.
is
Yeah.
is tossed out because he's a happily married man, an
Yeah.
ex-Avenger, and his life seems pretty good as he's quitting the Avengers or whatever
Correct.
he's doing.
And in the comic book line, the gentleman who's playing the swordsman, who is Kate Bishop's, I guess, soon to be father in law because they're engaged, the mom.
Yeah, they're
He's a
engaged.
mentor to Hawkeye.
Oh,
Right.
really?
He teaches Hawkeye not the bow and arrow component, but like his. So you know how Arrow, CW Arrow, there's gonna be a lot of comparisons to that show.
Okay.
Um, he had the guy on the island who taught him how to use a bow and arrow, and then he had another guy off the island that taught him martial arts and how to use a sword. So the swordsman in the comic book line, Matt Fraction line, is the swordsman's the name of the character, by the way. You couldn't tell with a little mustache that he's going to be a villain. That's on you, Chris. But he, in the comics, taught him hand-to-hand fighting, martial arts, and how to use bladed weapons. So when he became Ronin after he was Hawkeye, you know, that was the technique that he had learned from the swordsman, who he couldn't beat, he couldn't best as a younger guy, but he bested in the ultimate run of this that they're putting to on the screen. So obviously they're going to switch it around. They're probably going to have Kate Bishop take that role where she's going to best him because she's a fencer. She went to school and learned how to fence, and so
All right,
some
like I
thoughts.
don't want to hear any complaining because they actually literally showed in the opening sequence that she trained her ass off to do all these things.
Yeah,
Foreshadowing.
she's not Ray Skywalker for sure. So
No, no Mary
Like,
Sue here.
no
right.
complaining. I love that because normally they would
No Mary Sue here.
uh, uh, normally they would be like, "Hey, look at all of my medals," but like the little animated opening, they're like they show her actually losing. They're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we don't want to hear any of the bullshit from the crowd. We're gonna show you guys what the hell happened without taking the time to show you because we have a story to tell." So,
Right.
did you guys like that? All right, let's start with this. What did you guys think of Haley Steinfeld's character, Kate Bishop, so far? Did you think her backstory did anything for you? Do you think the character is built up enough? Do you like the comedy? Because this is definitely a very comedy heavy show, more even than Falcon and Winter Soldier, I would say.
Yeah, she's like a annoying spoiled brat to me.
Oh,
But
stop it.
no. Let me finish. That's a good thing because I want her to evolve into the character she should be. Like I want her to start off the inexperienced, cocky. You know what I mean? I'm spoiled. I know everything. You don't need to show me anything. Let her get her ass handed to her a few times and go. Yeah, maybe I do need to learn a couple things, right? So I want her to evolve for this arc.
Do you know who she reminds me of?
Hmm.
And you keep seeing this theme from me. On Arrow, Oliver's daughter in the future, who
Right.
takes the mantle. When you
Yeah.
first meet her, she's introduced by her mom, and she already has like a life. She's rich. She's got the Oliver name and everything, but she's already a badass, and she thinks that she's better than everyone. So
Right.
she's super confident. She's got skill, but she's overly confident, and it takes the original Arrow team to kind of bring her back to
Yeah.
Earth and teach her
Yep.
new skills. So there's a lot of comparisons for me in watching this. It reminded me. By the way, the actress who played Oliver's daughter was phenomenal too, and Haley Stanfield. I'm killing her last name. It looked like she was doing her own stunt choreography. I couldn't really tell when she was in a Ronin outfit and she was fighting the tracksuit mafia. It looked like yeah, it looked bro. I was expecting to hear dead ass and other New York lingo, but it looked like she was actually doing a lot of her own stunt choreography, and if that's the case, that makes me like her even more in the role because I like her quips. I like maybe I'm not as sarcastic or cynical as Mike, but I do like what she brings um, to the
Oh, I didn't
show
say
and
I
her
didn't like it.
character.
I'm just telling you how the character comes off right now. And I
Oh,
said that's a good thing.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're on
Yeah.
the same page. We're on the same page.
Hmm.
Sorry, yeah, Chris.
Yeah, when she shoots that arrow at the clock tower, and brings the entire. I was like,
Right,
okay, like this is a good setup for this character. Like you can see she's built up the skill, but she thinks she's kind of untouchable. She can do what she wants, and shit's
right,
just gonna fall apart. And then when she's beating up the guys when she's in the suit, she first gets the suit. She beats up some guys. She's feeling good about herself, and then she gets out in the street and she's overwhelmed. Like they do a good job of like, hey, look, she can do some shit. Like, look at this. And then they're like, but she's not an
She's
Avenger,
not there
guys.
yet. Yeah, she's
She's
not
not an
there yet.
Avenger.
Yeah.
Don't worry. So,
Yeah.
right.
okay, what did you think of the Clip Barton sections here? His very family man oriented stuff, but then you get some fun things with the LARPing. You get some fun stuff with him rescuing Kate the first time. What did you guys think of the
I like where he's
Jeremy
at.
Renner?
I like where he's at post Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a guy like I've been through some shit. I just kind of just want to be left alone. You know what I mean? And be with my kids. But
And not be at the theater.
yeah, not watching that crap for sure. But just kind of
This is where I'm gonna start nitpicking the show.
and
Post Malone.
post Nat. Nat's
Post Malone.
gone, right? So
This is where I'm gonna start nitpicking the show. All right, let's be honest. Hawkeye was definitely not the most well developed character in phase 1 through 3. Definitely was not. Um, no fault of Jeremy Renner, no fault of anyone other than they had a lot of other important chess pieces to focus on throughout the Infinity Saga.
And
Um,
no one ever thought they were going to get to a Hawkeye series. No one
never, never.
imagined in the
Although the Disney XD Hawkeye character was phenomenal. He was more of like the Flash. When I say the Flash, like he was very quippy. He was, a lot of levity. He wasn't as dark and foreboding as Jeremy Renner's version.
Yeah, but the
Um,
MCU had at that point had enough quippy characters. You didn't
yeah,
really
but
need
the
it
thing
as
is, in
quippy.
the Disney XD version, the animated version, he could still bang with the Thors of the world and the Hulks. He was in that bow and arrow guy, but there's things that he was doing. I guess because it's animated, it's easier for him to show his excellence in archery.
yeah,
The MCU character wasn't really given that that platform. But in this series, I was hoping to get a little bit more of Hawkeye, and I realized I'm not going to get that. I'm going to get more of his PTSD. And I'm like, oh, I've seen this before in
yeah.
Punisher.
But
I've seen this before in
let
so
me
many other
let
Marvel
me stop you right
characters.
there for a sec because tonight we're gonna get the introduction of Yelena from
This is
Black
what you're
Widow.
telling me right now, and this is a huge spoiler.
It's
But
not a spoiler. She's in the cast for
but
4 episodes.
but
So we're on
again,
episode
I'm
three,
going. I'm
four,
only
five,
going on.
six.
You asked me to review
Four
episode one,
episodes.
1 to 2, not the entire series without
But I'm
seeing it.
telling you, she's gonna be on there
Okay,
tonight. So
so
we may see.
next week when we review it, I may have a different opinion. But for
But
now, for what
but
I've
I'm not
reviewed,
spoiling anything because I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I'm just
okay.
telling you she's gonna be there because it's
So
public
it's like when
knowledge.
you go in court and you give me evidence that I can't bring to the table. It's all fruit of the bad seed, whatever. Let's just focus on the first 2 episodes without Florence Pugh, who I love, and I love her character.
I'm just
It's
telling you
way
though,
way too
you're
much PTSD. Oh my god, I have my kids. I'm trying to get the suit. I had to LARP. I mean, it's funny to watch, but it doesn't really do anything new to the character. I mean, there's some moments with him where I thought it was really well done because the actor is great. Like when he's in the first of all, he's watching a Rogers musical. You can clearly tell he's getting PTSD, and he's like, "This is not what
yeah,
happened." He looks at the Natasha sequence, and you can
So
tell what
he
it
didn't
means
get
to
shot
him
in the alley when he
because
left.
no one else in the entire universe other than Red Skull knows exactly what happened between him and Natasha.
exactly. Yeah.
No one else, entire universe. Second, he goes to the urinal and he sees that Thanos was right graffiti, which has been a meme now
Oh
since
man, good
Endgame.
point. Yep.
So
And he
good.
sees that, and you gotta imagine, like, holy shit! Like, I went through
Like
all this,
what?
and
What did
people
I
are,
do all this for? If you people
yeah.
think he was right,
But the point is, the character to me so far hasn't really developed more than like a narrative piece for Kate Bishop. And if this is what if this is what the series is going to do, I'm not saying I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to say that I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
get it, But as
But
far as
okay,
Chris's question about Hawkeye and
yeah.
everything, like I don't think this so far it gives me anything new about the character that I really wanted. Doesn't really advance the character.
Okay, so let me push
All right.
back a little bit before we move on. Like, because we basically had the same thing with Peter Parker in Homecoming, not Homecoming, Far From Home. After Tony died and everything happened, he was all sulking for how long?
But hold on, but we had a whole movie for that. Like
Right.
if we watch the first part of Tom Holland acting as Peter Parker up until Mysterio does the big reveal, and you
Mm-hmm.
give me that nugget of a movie, I'd be like, this is a terrible movie.
Right.
But
So, but we
again, I
have
don't have
another
the
half of this series coming. So I'm saying keep the
okay.
faith.
All right.
Right.
I know where you're going, Mike. Mike is trying to be optimistic because he's got a little bit of insider information, blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm just reviewing the first two episodes
Yeah.
as
So
is, as
it's
been broadcasted to us
right.
three who've
Right.
So
watched.
so as this storyline goes, this is very much we've seen this kind of storyline, and that is the Logan, the Into the Spider
Punisher,
Verse,
Punisher season
well,
one.
not even just Punisher. I'm thinking old, tired, and new, young. So the old man
Okay.
becomes the begrudgingly becomes the mentor of the kid as he's in his post superhero phase, whereas the kid's coming up and is excited about
Into the Spider Verse with the Peter Parker
Mm,
B and
yes, yeah.
right.
Miles
So
Morales.
I that worked really well in that movie. Why did Peter Parker B work in that movie versus why you're thinking that you're not you don't get enough of Hawkeye? What's the difference there? And I'm not sure
Well,
I don't have an answer, I'm asking.
from Jump Street, Peter Parker B was engaged with Miles. He wanted to help Miles because he witnessed the death of the first Peter Parker and Wilson Fisk.
He didn't want to help
So
Miles. He was trying
in
to
the
get something to
beginning,
eat.
he was like, "Listen, all right, you've got spider powers. This is what you need to do, kid." Like he was this Clint Barton. Like at what point did he even try to show her how to hold a bow and arrow properly?
But he doesn't have to. He was surprised by her skill. Remember, he's like, "All right, just give me the suit. I'm putting the suit away. You go home." And none of this ever happened. He didn't want to be any part of this. He was Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was like, "Dude, go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing and we're all good." And then of course, shit happens and they find out her
You're
name
right. No, no, no,
and
that's a good point. That's a good point.
now he has to save her. So
I didn't
now
think
it's
about that.
the Logan's part where he was
That's
like,
more Logan. All right.
"Little
So
kid."
maybe being a little down
No,
on
I
his.
think what I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I think what it is. We've had Clint Barton. We've seen this character for a decade, but do you feel like you know him besides he's the guy who
No,
shoots arrows
and
and
that's my
has a
original
family?
point. We had two episodes, and I think I know more about his kids than him now.
Right.
Post blip, his kids are adapting to the situation. Clearly, his daughter realizes there's things that he should not be exposed to, like the plague. Like, and his wife is calling, "Hey, how's it going on?" Everyone around Clint is being developed except for Clint.
So I think what might bug me and this might be with you as well is that we got this bit of information. Hey, Hawkeye went nuts, turned into this Ronin guy and killed a bunch of bad guys. And he was really sad about it. But then his family came back and he's not sad anymore. But like that's all we got. We got this little slice of information and now we're supposed to be like, "Oh my god, the the his past is coming back to him and it's about to run over this kid."
That's a great point. Two things real
So
quick about that, Chris, real quick.
we don't have enough of that information
The
about
Ronin
Clint.
part, him being Ronin, I was shocked that there was very little. Like, where's the Yakuza? Where are all of the. He went around Mexico cartels. Where are all those folks that he killed during the 5 year hiatus and the blip?
And
None
apparently
of
it's
that.
big news. Everybody knows the suit.
But the
Everybody knows
tracksuit
this guy.
mafia.
Right.
Second, the only morsel that they gave me to really give me a little more backstory about him was explaining why he's losing his hearing, why he's hearing impaired. They showed you different scenes from the previous
I thought that was
movies
funny.
where Keith is not here. I hope he has stayed for this because Keith hates Hawkeye with a passion. He's like, why are we even celebrating this guy? So I was explaining to him different parts of the show so far because he doesn't watch it. And I said, hey, by the way, they show you that the fact that he was fighting with gods, the Battle of New York. I mean, you had Nat, but Nat is already basically like Supergirl, whatever. He was fighting the Shatari. He was fighting Ultron. He was fighting all of these different the Dog Riders and Endgame. But he was a human being. So all those explosions and hits, eventually, like an NFL player, something's
Right.
gonna not work anymore in his body.
Yeah.
That to me was the only thing that I was like, wow, good. Whoever wrote this part,
Well, it's kind
well
of
done.
like a Iron Man 3 PTSD thing. Like,
And then they got
no,
rid of it. And then
they didn't
and then it was like,
they didn't do an I thought it was a good storyline. It's a good replacement for Demon in the Bottle for Tony Stark. Um,
Disney.
but like Clint Barton is kind of doing some of that. His PTSD isn't Endgame. His PTSD is losing Nat. Like,
Right.
it's not
Exactly.
he
Yep.
was
They
in a
need to show me this though. I think
right.
we all agree on this, but they need
You'll
to
see
show
it.
us that.
You'll see it
So
when
I think
Yelena shows up. You'll see.
Oh my god,
okay,
this
okay,
this guy in
I'm not
here
spoiling it. I
spoilers
don't know.
and
That's my theory. I don't
right.
know.
I'm hoping. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll say for me, I like it so far, but I agree with James in that I feel like there's a big piece of this history missing that I think I want to see to make me feel more cuz I don't I
Mhm.
think Hawkeye's grown on me. Specifically, Ultron was really good for Hawkeye.
Yeah. I
Hi-
agree.
That was good for that character. And I was sad because of the way he interacted with um Magic Girl, Scarlet Witch,
Wanda.
Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
Magic
Wanda, and
Girl,
Ultron, that they
sexist.
could not get him for to go to WandaVision. I wish they had used him at least once or twice in WandaVision. That
You know what I fear, Mike? Since you want to forecast and prognosticate,
mhm.
6 episodes, right? And I know the formula is going to be they're going to give us more of these. They're going to introduce new characters. They introduced a girl from the end of episode 2, which I already know is going to be Echo, who's tied to Daredevil, who was
Right.
in the. But I think the 5th episode, the penultimate episode, is going to be a soul Clinton Barton episode. You know, him and Natasha, everything he's been through, losing his family, and something at the end of the episode is going to get him to pass the mantle on to Kate, and then Kate will have her finale in
See,
episode 6.
I think I need that episode. I wish I
It's a
had that
formula.
episode first.
I,
I
I
wish I
think
had.
this is what they're going to do.
Well,
I'm
if you really want my theory, Multiverse of Madness is going to bring Natasha back in episode 6.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
So
because apparently Scarlett Johansson now in Disney are shaking hands again.
Oh yeah.
oh, once she
Her and
got
the
her
mouse
money,
made up.
she got her money and she's good.
Mm.
She's
Yeah.
back on the money train. All right. Any last words or we just want to move on?
Any last
We're not going to
words?
grade
Oh,
because we've only seen
No,
two
we're,
smash!
episodes.
we'll grade it in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I can't grade it yet,
All
Yeah.
right.
but
All right.
yeah.
Keep
Yeah, we're
watching,
going to
folks.
just keep we're going to keep watching. Of course, if you're an MCU fan, you're going to keep watching. If you're not an MCU fan, I'd like to hear what you thought of it. I thought of the shows we've gotten so far, I thought that it was kind of the least interesting of the
Be honest.
starts.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. It's definitely the lowest.
Like we didn't get the Falcon and Winter Soldier action opening. We didn't get the wow, like what the hell's going on with Wanda? This is so weird, out of nowhere kind of opening. This is kind of like very, hey, this is a Christmas Story in New York, like TV show opening. So it wasn't. It was kind of getting there, but it's like really slow. I wish they should have released 3 episodes because man, I was like,
No, but that's half the season.
I know. I was like,
Yeah,
huh.
well, listen, everybody's going to be excited when Matt Murdock shows up in episode 4.
That's
So,
another freaking spoiler.
I think he's
No, but
great.
you've been going down the same freaking dark websites that I've been going to for theories and Reddit.
Mhm.
All right.
Kingpin.
I know. We can discuss all that at
Oh,
the
I
season
I
review.
saw someone say they were going to CGI Kingpin to like double size.
No, don't do that. I
with,
like.
with Vincent D'Onofrio, but
No,
like, oh, that'd be disgusting.
Like
yeah, don't do that. He's fine the way he is.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
he
I hope they
is.
keep him just the way he is because I don't want to see that guy with the little tiny head. And
No, I like him
No.
exactly the way he is. He's perfect.
all right.
Yep.
All right, we're going to move on to Finch next. So when we get back, be
A
back in a
man
minute.
and his dog. Where have we seen
And a
this
robot.
before?
And a robot.
And a robot.
All right. Welcome back. And we're here, at least me and Mike did our homework, and we're here to talk about Finch on Apple Plus. Now, before we do, I have to say, Mike, you pretended to not celebrate any holidays this weekend, but I see behind you, you did celebrate one man, all of Canada together.
Our proud son of Canada. Yes, I put that up just for Brooksy, by the way, but she's not even here. So
So Deadpool himself got a full celebration from the entire country. Did he win
yeah,
some sort of award? Ryan
yeah,
Reynolds, by
it's
the way, got the
some
same thing.
blah blah blah. I don't really care, but anyway.
The Queen's
Yeah, the
Royal
Governor
Medallion.
General's. It's the Governor General's award or something.
Yeah, the
The
video was
Governor
funny.
General is appointed by the Queen as the
Right.
representative in Canada. It's whatever. Don't get me started on royalty. Anyway,
I told you, you guys need to cut your ties from the motherland.
yeah, Barbados did it today.
Or you need to
Congrats,
marry,
Barbados.
or you need to
Mm.
marry into the family, Mike. That's the other option.
And then leave them like Megan did.
And then
That's
leave
right.
them. But then you get a TV special out of it, and they call them.
Oprah, if you're listening, I'm getting ready.
You
All right.
remember Dave Chappelle skit.
I'm rich,
I
biatch.
quit. I quit. I got Oprah pregnant.
All right. So me and Mike are going to talk about Finch, which is a 2021 movie on Apple TV Plus, starring Tom Hanks and nobody else. But not actually true. The voice of Mr. Caleb Landry Jones.
It sounds familiar, man. It sounds like Castaway.
The voice of Jeff.
Is this Castaway 2?
In a way.
This is Castaway meets Mad Max.
All right.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
So directed by Miguel Safnik.
Another one for the blooper reel.
That's right.
Yeah. End of the year blooper reel.
He's done quite a bit, but he had several episodes of Game of Thrones on his list.
Yeah, that's right. He did a lot of TV. Yeah.
The real interesting part is the writers. So the writers are Craig Luck and Ivor Powell. Now, both of them only have one long form movie on their writing credits, and that's this movie. Apparently,
Nice.
Ivor Powell was a producer on Blade Runner and some
So
other
they're
major
just giving out script writing to anyone. And I'm
I
here,
think
like,
this is probably
wasting
one
my
of
time.
those. These two always wanted to make a movie, and they wrote a script, and they have enough.
That's
money.
like me and Mike. We've always wanted to write a Dritz novel, and Keith. I should say me and Keith because Keith.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
Mike.
you don't. Then these guys have all the pull to be able to get a Tom Hanks to do their movie.
Yeah, we don't have that fucking pull yet.
So this is a very basic plot. It's post-apocalyptic United States. Tom Hanks living alone with a dog in a place that could kill you if you walk into the sun after the ozone gets destroyed and society collapses, and he's dying, and he builds a robot to take care of his dog. That's
Yep.
it. That's the whole thing. It's very simple.
How long is this movie?
plot-wise.
3 hours?
No, not even.
It's like an hour and 45. Here,
Yeah.
Oh, easily digestible. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's entertaining for sure. It's not. Yeah.
it is just an acting display. It's a very simple plot. It's supposed to be, a peek into a human condition kind of movie. I guess I kind of enjoyed it, but like, I don't know. It's fine.
No,
Like
is
I
it the best movie of the year? Far from it.
No,
but
no.
is it?
Have
It's like a good weekend. Throw it on something to
So
watch. Right?
hold on, this is not because I've seen the trailer. This is not an Oscar baiting type of movie because the trailer gives me.
I guess you could, but I don't think it's to that level. It's like it didn't feel like everything the production value was so stirring. There's a couple of scenes of, it's Tom Hanks, so he's always at that level. There's a certain base level for a Tom Hanks role by himself speaking to a
Right.
dog, like, or an inanimate object. Like that's a certain Tom Hanks level that could easily garner him some attention, but I
Mm.
don't think it made it to that level. No,
Okay.
this um I don't know what to say. Like Mike, what was your overall feeling of watching this movie? You compared it to a Mad Max plus
Yeah. So,
Oh
like I
yeah,
said, yeah,
people time out. People should check Mike's quick peek on this, which was very good for me
well,
when we
yeah. I,
watched
I actually I just did a 1 minute
it.
review. It's on Insta and TikTok if you want to check it out. But basically, what I said was it's kind of Castaway meets Mad Max. What I did like about it is we don't open the movie with a bunch of narration or title cards to read explaining what happened to the planet. You get
yes.
tiny bits of information as the movie goes along, which I like. Kind of reminded me of what was the Will Smith one, Omega Man? The
Ugh, I Am
Earth
Legend.
After Earth?
After
No,
Earth,
no,
after
I
Earth.
no no not After Earth. Fuck that
I Am
movie.
no, that was
Legend.
Tom
I Am
Cruise.
Legend. I Am
He did.
Legend. Yeah.
Are you talking about the one with his son? Or are you talking about the
No, I
zombie
No,
Am
one?
Legend with the
I Am Legend with
zombies.
the dog. With the dog.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
with the dog and the zombies, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of similar to that. They both play scientists, but Tom Hanks isn't trying to save the world here. He's building his android to take care of the dog because he is dying. He's got cancer from the radiation, and
Hmm.
so.
Wait, so
But
the dog doesn't have cancer from the radiation?
no, he's kept because the dog would die instantly out in that if he touches the sunlight. Like I
So
think Hanks has been exposed
All right, go
enough.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what happened, right?
yeah, so without I guess without doing spoilers before we do that,
No, we can spoil it. It's been out for
there's
weeks now, so I would
okay.
spoil it.
All right, so spoiler. I guess what got me was at first it was like, okay, so we're just going to do the old man dying. What's he doing with his life? What does he remember? So that's really what this is. It's a person trying to decide what they did with their life. And there's a specific part about how he got the dog that
Right,
makes him full of regret. That is why he's so desperate to keep this dog alive and well, and he knows he can't do it. And he the way the character is being played is he basically hates people. He's terrible with people. He's scared of people. He's
hmm
scared of humanity in general. When he was in the real world, he tells a story about where he worked as like a scientist or a I don't know, an engineer of some kind. But he basically was how much he hated working with people. So I mean, it's interesting, but I think other movies do the humanity better, especially with the AI robot thing. Like I wasn't sure if they kind of got lost trying to tell the story of helping the AI learn what being human is, or
right.
or was that just a byproduct of a different story they were trying to tell? Because making this magical super learning AI robot, like it felt like a just a side project. Like it had a reason for him as a human, but like I don't know, I was missing something in the character building this thing. Like I don't know what it is. Just having trouble. It's so simple of a
You're right.
story.
That's what I was gonna say. It almost seems too simple. Like, so your whole purpose of building a robot was just for the dog. You know what I mean? And that's the question
Right.
you ask. Like, it's just for
Right.
the dog. It's not for to help humanity. It's not to help rebuild the planet. It's
Or
just for the dog.
and as the guy, the super smart engineer who is figuring out the world, you see his library and him learning about the ozone and that stuff and just surviving, but he manages like this miracle of science,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't put any more thought into what it's about than to take care of the dog. And maybe Uh, so James, well, let's tell you this. So basically, he calls himself a coward at one
Tom
point.
Hanks, never that.
Yes. No, like he failed to actually help other people when he had the chance when society was collapsing.
Oh, okay,
And
gotcha.
so his whole purpose in life becomes saving this dog.
That
So I guess
reminds me
there's
of Will
something
Smith's
there.
character in I Am Legend. Good analogy, but go ahead.
But he's not trying to do anything else. Like I Am Legend is capturing zombies and
Yeah, there's
experimenting and
no
trying.
cure for him to do because everyone's
No
gone
cure.
already.
There's no
Right,
cure.
exactly. You can't. Yeah, he can't cure the ozone at this point.
So I guess that's the weird part for me is like it felt like the whole AI magic AI bit just felt like unnecessary to what this man was trying to do. Like just find a person. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It was just
I guess, but
Interesting.
he didn't. Like all the people we saw, they were all pieces of shit, right? They
well,
would
we didn't
probably would have
really
ate the dog. They would
we
have ate
really
the
didn't
dog. That's the
see.
problem.
We didn't really see anybody. We assumed
Yeah,
we
like they had
assumed
the one scene where the car was chasing after
but we
them.
don't know that. That's his fear. The character is afraid. He
Well,
is.
the car stopped at the bridge, right? When they went under the bridge, the car stopped at the bridge
But okay,
to try
Mike,
and find him.
imagine you're living in the middle of a post-apocalyptic town, and somebody suddenly appears, and you're like,
Hmm.
"Holy shit, people! People! Let me connect with people. Maybe they know
So
where they're
it's
going.
so the people chasing him probably just wanted to say, "Hey, we're here too.
Like
You want to
help!
share some bread?"
Like help! Do you know something?
Share
Right.
your
Are you
dog.
heading some?
Yeah.
You have
Eat your
this
dog.
you have this super built post-apocalyptic RV. Can you help us? Like it could be anything,
Wait,
but
was he like a super scientist? Because he's building an AI robot. I guess he was the smartest
basically
person left.
he
Okay.
he's super
Yeah.
scientist. Like, but like he was building an AI in DOS or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird.
But anyway,
God.
it's weird that way. I guess you're supposed to just take this guy's fear of humanity and his fear of other people, and that's what's caused him to be alone. But the one thing that drives him in life is to try to help this dog. Okay,
You're
I
right.
mean,
Okay, so he's a coward, but he
right.
wants to help
I
this
want to
dog because his own dog get eaten. Get it?
right. I want to nitpick one thing about this movie's timeline, and I know it has. This is all about the human experience or a man's final wish in life or overcoming fears or whatever it is, whatever. But so this man, as an adult, experiences the world collapsing due to uh, nasty destruction of the ozone layer, and then solar flares knocking out all electricity, the collapse of society to nothing, right?
Hmm.
So, and then we see him here, and he's living by himself with this dog that he had found during the collapse. So, dogs
Hmm.
can't be more than 10 years old.
Right.
So, all of this happened in 10 years. And then at the end, he discovers that San Francisco is all green and surviving again and thriving again.
Oh my God, sounds like propaganda over here.
Like,
Follow San Fran's motto, guys. Unless you're going
You
to
know
be
why?
ozone depletion.
Because of Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy
Yeah,
Pelosi.
and the Hollywood liberal elites who wrote this movie.
Like I know the end of the movie
Oh
is
damn,
supposed
we
to
ended up
be
on the wrong side of YouTube, folks.
Oh
is
shit!
is supposed to be some
Let me get
sort
my
of like,
MAGA hat. Hold on.
We just gained 300 new files that we do not want.
right.
Sorry, Chris. Go.
No, it's
Go
like
ahead.
there's it's supposed to be some hopefulness and some, oh, the world is will make it and we'll move on, and there's green again or but whatever. But I was like, but we just saw society collapse. You can't tell me nobody knows that San Francisco has running water and grass.
Yeah, there's a lot
Dude,
of
I
far
watched The
fetched
Walking
bits.
Dead. Time out.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of suspense. The Walking Dead is a show right now that every season is on another location that's somehow self-sustainable, solar power, energy, helicopters. But the season before that, it looked like a desert wasteland. So they're always going to bring out
And then as
You know,
soon
I
as Rick
haven't seen
gets
this
there,
movie. Yeah, I haven't seen this movie, but it follows a pattern of other shows with apocalyptic shows.
yeah,
So
there's nothing. It's not like groundbreaking. There's not. It's not like a new
now there's a
concept.
floating city in the sky. After that's like, okay, what the fuck? Like, that's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy was living the life in his underground lair. The only thing he just needed was to keep power on.
Well, he didn't
And
have food. That was the problem. It
Wait,
was
so how
getting
was he
tough.
that's right.
sustaining himself?
He
He
was
was
Plants?
scavenging.
scrounging, but he was running like he was pretty in the beginning. You see him going from store to store to store and marking the store when he knows that that one's empty and he's got to move on. He's got to keep going out farther and farther. So it comes to that point where he's pretty much found all the food he can in that area. It's time to go.
See,
So
this is what bugged me. Another thing that bugged me is he's
mm,
got basically as much power as he wants because he's
mm-hmm,
running basically a full on fan, not a fan,
Windmill?
mm-hmm.
windmill, running his power. But at no point do I see him
That
trying to
You know how many
oh,
windmills you need to generate a certain amount of KW?
but that's why
Sorry,
he's
take
dying.
my engineering hat off.
He got windmill cancer.
You got
Wait,
windmill
what?
cancer.
He got windmill cancer. That's why he's
Yeah.
dying.
I'm glad I didn't watch that movie. I would have stopped right
I'm,
there
He does not
and
have
threw out my
windmill.
fire stick.
but windmill cancer is not a thing except for in Trump's
No, no.
mind.
Like
No, windmill.
have
The maggots, the killing birds is their issue,
he didn't
not
have like a little
cancer.
grow lamp powered growing potato or something. Like it's like he had everything except like what I would consider the most basic thing that you would use the power
Antibiotics.
for.
Oh my bad.
I don't know. It,
Yeah, that's
I,
weird because you could grow algae, you could do all kinds of things. I don't
yeah,
know.
because he was running that entire little industrial basement with a
Yeah.
refrigerator and fans and air conditioning and lights and a
I don't want to watch this movie
photocopier.
anymore because I would be nitpicking everything about the science of this movie.
There was a lot to nitpick.
You gotta
Um,
when you watch it, you have to take off your engineering hat and just enjoy the ride of him training the robot. That's the part I enjoyed most about this
yeah,
movie, like the robot learning to drive and learning when they go scavenging for food. You know how to be sneaky, things like that, right? So
yeah. Tom Hanks is a great actor. He sells the characters.
right.
You when he's afraid,
He
you get
does.
it.
He's great. He's
When
great.
he's
One of the best of
happy,
all
when he's
time.
sad, he does the whole thing. So he carries the movie, even though it's got some weird science and some.
He's
But you
definitely one of the
understand
goats.
Yep.
what the character's trying to do. So I guess we should grade Finch. Mike, what did you think?
So yeah, pretty good movie overall. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It's I didn't have to buy a movie ticket to go see it. I probably wouldn't have,
No,
So
no,
I'm
we could have
I'm gonna
seen
give it.
Solo with
Huh?
his dog, right? What was that one
What's
in the
that?
theaters? What was that one in the theaters with Han Solo and his dog?
Han
Oh my
Solo.
god,
Oh,
that movie with Harrison Ford and his
oh,
dog
Harrison Ford.
that was poo pooed also.
yeah. Was that the Call of the Wild or something?
Yes, yes. I think it was called
Yeah, I
Call of
never
the
saw. I
Wild.
didn't
That
see
never
that.
made a splash at all.
Yeah.
And that's a big
Um,
name, Harrison Ford.
I know. So I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna give it a B. I've been trying to think between a B and a B plus, but I'm gonna go B overall.
All right,
I think the positives for me outweigh the negatives. So
yeah, I'm gonna give it a B minus. It just Tom Hanks by himself can carry the story you're trying to tell, even if the story wasn't super interesting or didn't. I don't not even interesting because it is a story of a person and that person's slice of life, end of life, whatever. So it is what it is. It's that story. Tom Hanks always pulls it off. Uh, I can be annoyed by a bunch of the weird story elements, but you can't be mad at Tom Hanks. So B minus.
I like to offer a grade.
exactly.
Based on me hearing windmill cancer and everything I've heard so far, I'm gonna give this a D for doo doo. With the
Dude, but
parentheses incomplete grade.
there's no windmill cancer. I'm just making a Trump joke because Trump has actually said that.
Incomplete. By the way, I
So
hope people in Texas right now are winterizing their windmills to
Of course
not
not.
have what happened last year happen.
That's
So
right.
a little shout out to my
Yeah.
Don't worry.
G's out there.
Ted Cruz is buying them all tickets to Cancun. We just lost our 300 new followers, by the way.
Good.
Even his that's all right. Even his kids don't want to go to Cancun with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanna number one, I wanna thank Brooksy for giving us D for doo doo. That has got to be our
At end of
grades
the year,
grading system.
we should do a splash of how many times that grade was given in that format.
Yeah, I'll have to
I agree.
dig through it.
All right. So that's it, though. That's what we're going to talk about. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Go take a look at our YouTube. I did finally do my own quick peek. My 22-minute quick peek.
As
You're like
18
another
minutes.
hostage, man. What is it? You might look like hostages. No, you're a little better than Mike. You're a
No,
little better than Mike.
it was midnight. I was so quiet. I was like, I don't want to wake anybody up. And I go back and forth. And when I'm not talking to anybody, like I'll stop and I'll think for like 5 minutes on camera, and then I'll go back and I'm scrubbing through. I'm like, shit, I gotta erase that, erase that, erase that, erase that. So it's it's like building like 15-second chunks into something people can listen to.
Yeah, it is
for
tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say you did a good job.
You
You
did. I
still
was
haven't
joking. You did a good job.
told us how much Netflix has been paying you to constantly promote this show.
I know,
Dude,
man.
I can't get this shit off my brain.
You're like
So
Brooks and
you
her
guys
Fast
have
and
to finish it
Furious.
because we have to do a spoiler review next week. Finally, next week. So
Yep.
you will find the non-spoiler review. Like I said, I reviewed the storyline and the animation in most basic of forms, and then we will do spoilers next week. And thank you, Mike, for adding all of the bells and whistles that I could not add.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah,
Good
that's
job
what
by
I
you,
mean.
Mike. Good job by you, Mike.
That's right. Always good job by Mike. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Mike, where can they find us elsewhere around the web?
We are all over the world at Heroes Peak on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell in the corner so you get notifications when Chris finally does another anime video. And leave a comment below.
I got to figure out what I want to talk about next.
Like,
All right.
All right.
Never mind.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.